Dude, please don't look at my car. Let's see what I got in here. Hi, cat on the roof. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see who else comes in. Apostle Sandra, what's up? I think I saw someone else, Evangelista, maybe. Not really looking at the names. What's up, Tebe? Oops. What's up, Taylor Holland? Hello, 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 hello. I'm not going to talk very, very long. Had to step out of work for a little bit. Now I'm on my way back. Audacious Anointed One. What's up, what's up, what's up? So I'm just going to turn the screen. Not really going to look at you all too much. I'm going to talk for a moment about something that came to me. And I know if I don't talk to you now, it's going to be hard to find the time to do it because I always seem to have something to do. Created to worship. What's up, what's up, what's up? So I'm on my way heading back to work and just thinking about like an email I got today from one of my senior leaders, and he was talking about like my engagement and different qualities that he sees, and that he's proud to say that I'm a part of like his team, that I'm under him in some capacity. And when I went to think of how I should respond back to him, I considered like my direct supervisor and my leader, and how my leader kind of breathed life back into me in the corporate world, because I honestly kind of get bored with stuff pretty easily. I'm a creative person, I'm a creative, and if I stay doing something too long, this very routine and mundane in some capacities, then I tend to get exhausted, and like, I don't think I want to do this, you know what I'm saying? Like, my performance, well, not my performance, my engagement may not be as enthusiastic, which is really my nature in some senses. So I thought about my supervisor, and I went to go to respond to him, and I have to edit it, so I didn't respond yet, but I will do it when I get back to work. And I was just thinking about my supervisor. He really breathed life back into me, and I told him, when my senior leader emailed me, I sent my supervisor an instant message, and I'm like, you know, I just got this email, I'm going to respond to it, but I just need to sincerely thank you, you know, and I'm not saying this to give, you know, show you any form of flattery, because I don't do that. That's not my personality. But I just really want to thank you, because you breathe life back into me. I was in corporate America in a role feeling like a caged bird. Like, okay, like, what's up, Terrence Turner? Hey, I'm gonna call you. Listen, I was feeling like a caged bird. Like, okay, somebody has clipped my wings. I can't fly. I'm not able to do anything. You know, I only have so much stretch room with what I can do. You know, my job is pretty black and white. The company I work for is big on adhering to policies and regulations, and I get that. So the company is black and white. What is there for me in the corporate world? I'm a creative. I feel like I'm dying here. And my leader breathed life back into me, and I said, you took me from a place of where I felt like a caged bird to where I feel like I'm now in a garden, you know, where I can bloom, where I can blossom, where there's opportunity for me to develop in other things. And I'm beginning to see, hey, there's some other stuff here that I like. And since I'm moving, I'm approaching almost 2 years, I think, in my current role, you know, it's time for me to expand, and my leader totally supports me, like, and pushes me to work. He's like, he's pretty dope, but he's real low-key and laid back. His personality he's more of an introvert, so it's pretty cool. But yes, I just told him that and just thanked him for that. So I just want to share this really quick story with you, especially if you're a creative person, you work in a very I'm sorry, my phone was sliding, and you work in a field that you don't necessarily think has anything for you. You know, you work in a medical office maybe, or you work for a financial institution. You know, you don't work for the most creative place. I just want to share with you that there's room for you, and there are things that you can do. I read a book recently, and I actually started started writing something about it last night because I had been saying I was going to do it, but I had not done it, and because I just really have not had the time. So I sat down and started writing about it. The book is called The Defining Decade by Meg J. And she's actually a clinical psychologist. She specializes in like adult development, and she worked with a lot of 20-something kids. So the subtitle of the book is Your 20s and Why They Matter. And the book talks about work, love, and just life in general, and some perspectives that we need to consider from a social standpoint and from a scientific standpoint, and then also just from a life standpoint, a place of emotional enjoyment and things like that. But it was a really cool book. Something in the book that sparked my attention was this word called homophily. And homophily means love of the same. And it's based on a social theory that says that people that are alike will come together to build relationships and connections. And you can see this evidence through relationships that you have with people romantically, your friendships. You see these ties there, but you can think about the statement maybe your parents told you when you were a kid, birds of a feather flock together. If my service is poor, it's because I'm coming through like some wooded areas, but birds of a feather flock together, that's what homophily is. So I saw this in that book, but something else that she talked about was weak ties and strong ties, and something known that another social scientist created, the power of the weak tie. So the power of the weak tie. Weak ties in life are connections that you have with people that you don't know so well. These are people that you're acquainted with, but they're not a part of your inner circle. They're not a part of your tribe. They're not a part of your squad. They're not like your bestie or your best friend. They're not in that clique. These are people that you may work with and not talk to so much. These are neighbors that you may not speak to so much. These are people that you've come in contact with, have an in-depth relationship with them. She talked about the power that there is in those relationships, and how information actually travels faster through weak connections. And the reason why it travels faster through weak connections, and it goes, it hits us at a higher magnitude, is because in the weak connections, there's not many overlapping connections. When we hang around those people, we hang around our clique, our tribe, the information we receive, we discuss, everything is local to that clique. But when you deal with weak connections and you start engaging with those people, they have the power to connect you with people that you may have otherwise not encountered. She shared a story in the book, this Dr. Meg J. And in the story, she received a box of books, and she realized that these books didn't belong to her. Yeah, and if you're not 20, I still recommend, if you're not in your 20s, I still recommend you get the book. I really do. Even when I worked with which sucked the life out of me. Constructive criticism. I'm gonna have to holler at you about that cat on the roof. I can't really look too much now, but yeah, if you're not in your 20s, I still recommend you getting this book. So in this story, she talks about, in the book, Dr. Meg J, how she received a box of books, and she knew that these books weren't hers when she opened it up, because it had the information of the person it belonged to in there. So it belonged to an editor. She ended up reaching out to the editor, not by phone, via email. She connected with this editor, and the editor was like, oh, read what you like, blase, have fun at it. And she found out that she edited like what kind of material she dealt with, which I think was like educational stuff. Forgive me if I'm not quoting that properly. But in the end, when this woman that wrote The Defining Decade, Meg J, decided she wanted to write her book, guess who she reached out to? She didn't connect with someone that was in her circle. She didn't connect with a strong tie that she had. She connected with the editor, which was a weak tie. She'd only taught Bible. You can find this in the Old Testament. I think maybe starting at the 37th chapter of Genesis, maybe the 41. I really don't remember off the top of my head. But Joseph was envied by his brothers. He had a dream, shared the dream. what he said about the about the dream. He shared another dream he ended up having with his dad, and shortly thereafter, his brothers decided they wanted to kill him. So instead of killing him, one of the brothers, Reuben, was like, no, let's just put him in a well, and we can do that, because he kind of wanted to save his life. But he ended up still being sold into slavery. And I really don't understand where Reuben went in the story, because Reuben made that statement, and then all of a sudden, I believe Judah comes along and is like, hey, it's a caravan, let's sell them into slavery. And Reuben wasn't there to stick up for him. So I don't understand. I have to go and research that on my own time. Like, where did Reuben get to that this happened? But anyways, it was part of God's divine plan. Please excuse me for rambling. This is how my mind works at times. So Joseph ended up being sold into slavery, and he went to Egypt. And you guys, most of you know this story, but I'm sharing it for those who don't. But Joseph went and worked for Potiphar. Potiphar's wife wanted to give it to Joseph. She wanted to have sex with him. Joseph was a person with high character and values, and he wouldn't do it. He's like, no, like you're my master's wife. I'm not doing that. I wouldn't do that. Like, God forbid I do that. So she caught him alone one day and ended up snatching his garments and saying, oh, well, he raped me. And from there, Joseph was thrown into prison. Now, when Joseph ended up in prison, he met two prisoners. Now, these prisoners were ones that he had a weak tie with, a weak relationship. He didn't know them from anything, but these prisoners had strong connections with someone great, with the Pharaoh. It was the Pharaoh's, what you may refer to as a butler today. His cupbearer, one that tasted everything that he drank, and then also his chef or his baker. So these were people that held high positions for the Pharaoh. They had dreams that troubled them, and the cupbearer ended up telling Joseph his dream, and Joseph interpreted it. And he was like, you're going to get out of jail, and when you get out, just remember me. Just remember me and give me favor, grant me favor by remembering me. And so he interpreted the other guy's dream too, but that's not necessarily for us to talk about. You guys can read the story. But he ended up, the cupbearer got out of jail, but the cupbearer forgot about Joseph. He didn't say anything. And Joseph waited 2 years later. 2 years later, something happened. The Pharaoh had a dream. And when the Pharaoh had a dream, it troubled him. The cupbearer remembered, and the cupbearer ended up going and saying, hey, I've done an injustice. I forgot about somebody, but this guy interpreted my dream. I don't know him from anything, but what I do know is he interpreted my dream, and that thing came to pass. It happened. And so Joseph ended up interpreting the dream of the Pharaoh. And you're probably thinking, well, what does this have to do with creatives in the workplace, creatives in corporate America, creatives in settings that aren't necessarily thought of as a place where they would thrive? Well, Joseph was a type of a creative. Joseph ended up interpreting this dream through the grace of God, and he acknowledged that, and he presented a strategy. So not only was Joseph able to identify a problem, Joseph was one that was able to identify and ding, 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 implement a solution, which is to cause a vision to come to pass. And because of that, Joseph was given the highest place in the kingdom next to the Pharaoh. And his role could be looked at in our modern times as a consultant. And there's roles like that in the corporate world, or people that implement things. And I'm beginning to thrive in a new area because of my creativity, because my brain is always wondering and pondering, is there an easier process for this? this is unorganized. Let's begin to structure this so that it can function better, so that it can do more. So I just say that to you all, you creatives in the workplace. I really didn't intend on coming on here and talking this long. I just wanted to kind of introduce it and see if it's something you want to hear more about. But to you creatives that work in areas where you feel like maybe I'm not supposed to be here, don't necessarily say that. There is room for you, trust me. I'm a creative and I can thrive in corporate America. And if I can thrive in a corporate world as someone who loves to write, as someone who loves to paint, as someone who loves to draw, as someone who loves music and humanities and such like that, then you can also thrive there. You can be as Joseph, and you can connect with someone that may not be in your circle, may not be in your tribe, and that can propel you into your destiny or into a new place in your destiny. My senior leader, we don't engage much. I see him at work, but I can't tell you the last time we sat down together and spoke outside of today, or we were even in the same meeting together. But it's a weak connection, but there's power there. So just be encouraged, creatives. Don't feel like you're a caged bird. Just step back, change your perspective, and look to see what isn't there. Don't look at what you do see, look to see what isn't there, and decide that you're going to thrive in the environment that you're in. And it's so amazing. There was a few weeks ago, like someone way up in upper management at the company I work for, which is a financial institution, and she actually came to my desk and kind of shadowed my role to see what I did. And I just listened to her as she talked about her career path and how she had no clue that she was going to be doing what she was doing now. How she had started out in mortgage and was with another financial institution, and it ended up at our place, and how she applied for one job, and the person that said, hey, I can give you this role, but there's another role that I'm creating that I know you would be a good fit for. She's like, I don't even know all of what I'm going to be doing, but I'm in this role that was created, it's being created as we speak. How cool is that? It was just really interesting to see her career path, and that's how it is for us in life. You've hit plateaus, you've gotten what you need to get, and then it's time to move on to the next thing. But that doesn't mean that you leave what you have. No, those skills that you've learned, some of them will only be used in that role, but there are other skills that you have that are transferable, meaning you can take those skills from one area and move them into another area, and then that gives you equity, meaning it gives you more value. It gives you more flexibility in asking about, what you want to make in your compensation, what your worth is. So everything about, the corporate world is pretty cool to me. It's just so many things. So creatives, don't feel like you can't flourish there. Just know it's just so many amazing things for you to do. If you want to hear more stuff like this, then hit me up. You can go to my website, thesmokingprophet.com, and contact me there. There's a contact area. Or you can go to another website I have called mylolacreates.com, and you can solicit creative services from me. And if I'm available and I will absolutely assist you in whatever I can. But if you want to hear more about these types of things, just go and let me know. Or shoot me an email, thesmokingprophet@hotmail.com, and let me know what you want me to talk about, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much. I'm out of here. Bye.